So today I want to talk about impunity. I want to talk about frustration at impunity. Uh, I have talked before about how it's kind of a form of abuse to neglect another human being who has needs. And in this case, it's the entirety of the United States of America who have not been listened to for a very long time. And we're seeing where it's led us, where we're heading, which is, it's hard to think about because we are so destroyed now that we're not really sure how we're going to come back from this mess, but we will come back. We will emerge victorious. Hello, hello. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I was wondering, I was looking for what happened with the War Powers Act, so this is what I want to talk about. I did not get the news yet, so thanks for letting us know. My sense is that that's not the end of that story. So when we're not heard, when we're not listened to, when what we say is not heeded, is not taken into consideration, when what we say is met with and not, when it's really dire and no real action being taken, when we see horrific, sadistic criminals in charge of huge numbers of people in the populace that sadistically inflict harm and cruelty and violence, and our cries for stop it, stop it, stop it are not heard. When this goes on, when they're not heeded, when nothing changes, when this goes on for years and years and years, what's happening is it's a technique to get us to believe that, see, you are powerless. It's a tactic. It's a fascist tactic. See, you are powerless. So after years and years and years of this kind of treatment and pointing to the good people and saying they're awful, continuing to point to the good people who want fairness and harmony and sanity, to continue to point to those good people and call them the enemy, all the while the good people that are clamoring for fairness and justice are the ones that are being ignored. All the while when this is happening, what they need for the good people to do is to give up. We all, I venture to say, we all have that tendency. We all have within us the temptation to give up. And it's those of us that don't succumb to it that this country is really going to count on and rely on. So it has to be you and me if it's not going to be the others that cave when it comes to being loud and persisting. Remember that Mitch McConnell said, nevertheless, she persisted about Elizabeth Warren because he was so annoyed. Because she persisted, right? I called Elizabeth Warren today. I called more representatives than I ever have today. Once I got it through my noggin that I don't have to just call representatives from my state. I can call representatives in any state as an American citizen. Duh. I could have had a V8. So now that's what I'm doing. And what happens when the fascist minded keep hearing from us and keep hearing from us and keep hearing from us, what happens to them is they get really angry and then they double down. So this impunity that we're seeing and this complete inhumanity that we're being subjected to, these are weapons that they use. So I just heard a little bit of Kristi Noem that I went on and on about yesterday about her monotone, her filibustering, her talking over what somebody's saying, her denying things that are true, her lying brazenly to everybody's face, all that. That is to get people to a point of being so frustrated that they just give up. That they just go, "Well, you're not listening to me anyway." So, after a while, it's like fatigue sets in and a belief that you're not gonna get anywhere. So, see, you tried and tried and tried, you did it, you just kept revisiting it and you didn't get anywhere. And it's what's interesting about that is just as you get closer to the point where you're gonna get somewhere, a lot of people quit. A lot of people quit. But I really do feel that the forces at work that are invisible, I'll just put it that way. The invisible forces at work that I believe in that are at work have given us the ultimate, just almost not even believable display of what happens when these people aren't stopped, where we're sending our own military into a war for no reason that's been explained to the people, and people are being killed and violated and assaulted by so-called government agencies. Concentration camps they're attempting to build or are being built, where we are stopping some of them. Thanks for being here, all of you. So when all that's happening and it's a tug of war because they're betting on that we're going to weaken because they keep pulling harder and remember tug of war a long time ago? The string is going, they keep pulling, they keep pulling, they keep pulling, and they keep getting their string over the line, and they keep pulling and they keep pulling, and we're supposed to let go according to them. And they just keep getting more and more horrible. And they keep figuring that we're going to get so discouraged. What Sage just posted up there, I think it was Sage, right? Is that reining in Trump's war powers. I love your enthusiasm that you're not going to quit. I know you won't. So the War Powers Act, what they voted on, right? Okay, so this is another example. Acting in ways that are shocking is a way to get us to quit. So I was just watching a little bit of the Kristi Noem, and it's so awesome to see the Democrats and even the Republicans too, to their credit, the ones that are waking up at least, that aren't severely compromised from the appearances. She's doing terrible, terrible, terrible things. People have died on her watch. I just heard the question posed to her, does Corey Lewandowski, are you having an affair with him? And she wouldn't answer the question. And they held her feet to the fire. Okay, so we see that. We get a little shot in the arms, like, yeah, we're getting somewhere. Meantime, there's the Middle East is on fire because of Trump trying to, impress his buddy Netanyahu by, agreeing to help him with his genocide. And we see Kristi Noem and we think, well, maybe we'll get somewhere here. Maybe she'll get impeached. And what we repeatedly see is she's still in the damn position after she was in the position to hold those accountable that murdered in cold blood two of our own American citizens. She's in that position. We're going, oh, I hope this gets her impeached. I hope these hearings get her impeached. I hope. Is she going to get impeached? Shouldn't she have been impeached months and months and months ago? Abso-freaking-lutely. Trump started a war after he was threatening Greenland, after he just felt like invading Venezuela and getting Maduro out of there, after he said there was going to be a regime change. And there's another war he's starting somewhere in South America, Ecuador. And we get a little bit like, okay, this will be it. This will be it. How many times have we said, this will be it? This will be it. Yep. This is a bridge too far. This will be it. This will be it. It's a fascist tactic to make it not be it. We need a regime change. Regime change. I'm still reeling from the fact that we call this a regime. It doesn't, it doesn't qualify to be a government, but since the beginning, we called it a regime. The War Powers Act. This is why I called more representatives than I've ever called in a day today. And tomorrow will be more. And the next day will be more. The next day will be more. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to give you the number because I have my glasses now and I can tell you what it is in case you don't have it handy because I want everybody on the phone calling Congress. 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. If one of those MAGA Republicans pisses you off, call them. You'll get the switchboard. Ask for whoever you're calling. I called Ted Cruz's office. I called Josh Hawley. I called Tom Cotton. And I called the representatives in my state in Massachusetts. And tomorrow, because it's so easy, I'm going to I'll commit to calling 25 representatives all over the country. These MAGA Republicans have to hear it from us. Read them the freaking Riot Act. There are people that are dying and that have died and it will just continue. It's going to escalate. This is mass insanity. He has isolated us from all our allies. They're not going to help us with anything. They're not even going to give us intelligence. We need to have our voices amount to something that moves this whole thing. Kristi Noem needs to be impeached. Kash Patel needs to be impeached. Pam Blondie, the head of the Department of Crime, needs to be impeached. We know Trump needs to be impeached. J.D. Vance needs to be taken off his little pedestal that's so unearned. And all the rest of them. We're all in danger. They're banking on our fatigue. And the fatigue happens when we see action towards holding them accountable. And it's just like one of those fireworks that you light and it's like, oh, it's going to be a great firework. And you light it and it ends up being a dud. Just sputters. We need, I did call MAGA Mike Johnson too. I called him the second day in a row. And they stand up there in front of the reporters acting like, oh, they're in the way. Oh, you silly. Oh, of course we need this war. We can't rein in as war powers. What do you mean? Oh yeah, well, we just lost 6 soldiers, many more to come. According to Trump, there'll be more. Does he shed a tear? These people are sadists. They don't care that people are dying. Call and call and call and call and call. And the American people have had a history in our generations, in our time here on the planet as Americans. We have had a history of letting things slide. And that's what they need for us to do. And like I said, I feel like the powers that be are making it undoable to do nothing. Our national security is like Swiss cheese. We really don't have any national security right now. And these MAGA Republicans are voting to not rein it in after we lost 6 troops. mothers, fathers, siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends. Their lack of humanity is breathtaking. And I'm going to tell you one other thing that where they get away with this is that I'll always remember Susan Collins, the first time Trump was impeached but not removed. It's stuck in my noggin. It probably stuck in yours when a reporter asked her what she thought about him being impeached, not removed, but impeached. What did she say? What did mealy mouth Susan Collins say? Remember, I said I only call people names if they hurt people, directly or indirectly. I think Trump has learned his lesson. So this is how they get in too, because it's like you're dealing with a monster. And by monster, I mean somebody who doesn't have empathy. We talked about empathy yesterday. And we give them the benefit of the doubt. Surely they can't mean it. Surely they have a conscience. Oh, I'm sure they learned their lesson because we're thinking that they're human. We're thinking that they have these humanistic qualities. I think we hope for that. I actually think that's a leftover, uh, you know, fantasy of that we do in childhood when things aren't that bad. When things are really bad, we say that they're not that bad in order to cope as a survival mechanism. I'm going to tell us all something. It's that bad. It's that bad. Indirectly, they're telling us they're okay with people being killed on their watch because of their inability to stand up and say, that's not okay. This regime, you might have noticed, has planted people with criminal minds in the position of leadership, of being in charge of our lives. That's a fascist tactic. You remember Colin saying he will learn his lesson? Yeah. She's like, I think he's learned his lesson. Now, I just count her as clueless. These others, like I was talking about Russell Vogt. Interesting, his last name sounds like Vote because he's trying to steal our ability to vote. Russell Vogt, the author of Project 2025. Honestly, you all know that I read people. I read people for a living. When I look at him, I see somebody who he has the sort of the feeling of, to me, he has a feeling of somebody who you could imagine would be in prison for murder. I can imagine that. Christy Nome, we know she has the potential for murder because she murdered a puppy and a goat. Stephen Miller, when are they going to drag his ass into a hearing? There's no bottom for these people. They're devoid of a conscience. They're devoid of any moral compass at all. So Christy has been grilled for a couple days now. The United States of America is watching our country sink like the Titanic. We hit the iceberg and it's sinking fast. And we need a glimmer of hope. They would make lampshades with your skin. That's hilarious, and it's true. Trump on the campaign trail, how many times did he mention Hannibal Lecter? Understand that to these types of people, that's appealing. I'm not sure how the United States of America's population became so damn clueless. I really don't know. Oh, the Nazis did that? They made lampshades with people's skin. Yeah. Okay. So this is the level at which we have to understand. Evil doesn't give up. But first we have to identify it as what it is. Yeah, he was letting us know. Jump was letting us know he's fine with cannibalism. Not only that, but when he talked about Hannibal Lecter, the fictional character, he empathized with him. If he has any empathy at all, he empathizes with people who are also deranged, even though that's a fictional character. These are the things that he thinks about. And some people thought they should vote for him because I know that he didn't legitimately win, but I also know that people voted for him. Even after the Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden, where one of their own called Puerto Rico a garbage island. Yeah, I couldn't watch the movie either. I didn't watch Silence of the Lambs. I can't watch that kind of stuff. He was hungry. But I know one thing, I love fava beans, and somebody said to me, "Oh, like Hannibal Lecter," and I was like, "Oh, no, don't ruin my fava beans." I just bought some the other day, and I was thinking, no. I want us all to realize that they need for us to decide that it's not worth being loud. It's true. I love fava beans. A little side note is, I grew up in my mom's all Sicilian. I grew up in a community that's a lot of Sicilians, and St. Joseph's Day is coming up soon, and I put them in my St. Joseph's uh, special dish. So the answer to the dilemma that we're in, a lovely Chianti. In the old days, yes, I would have had that. Italian and Irish and a little. Yes, I'm Sicilian and Irish and French. You watched my manicotti making video the other day. During that video, that was June 27th, 2024. During that video, I was talking about the horrifying abuse of Joe Biden during the debate. And I said then that Joe Biden won that because he won it in spades and decency. You just watched that? That's funny, Brenda. Our weapon is how loud we are. Oh, I'm trying to remember. The apron, I think, was the Italian flag. Our weapon is how loud we are. Our weapon is how persistently loud we are. Our weapon is, and in fact, our friend Barbara, who's not in the chat tonight, she said that she called one of her representatives' offices and got a person on the other line, because sometimes you do, on the end of the line. And that person, the helper, the assistant for whomever's office she was calling, told her that, well, kind of like empathized with what she was expressing, and also said that she wasn't alone, that they had received about 2,000 calls. This doesn't work like YouTube. I can't. Okay, here we go. What do I think of that awful purple and pink blob attached to the felon's neck? I'm sorry, it's hard to see. My internet connection is unstable. Can you still see me and everything? Because I can change my my connection. Just let me know. Um, I'll go over that. For the. Okay, all right, good. Because it just said my internet connection was unstable. We're all unstable. It's bad as far as Trump's health goes. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm still on. As far as his health goes, he's failing really, really fast. So if an office said, one of the representatives' office reportedly said that they had received about 2,000 calls, that really, I mean, I was so glad that she told me that she called and heard that from the person on the other end of the phone, that representative's office had gotten about 2,000 calls. Call, call, call. Because here's the thing, evil does not let up. It never lets up. We have to be on guard personally in our lives. Personally, one of the best defenses against the dark side and evil is to be happy and to make that a full-time job. How are you? I'm happy. How are things? I'm good. I'm always good, right? Evil can't touch people that feel resilient and strong and happy and courageous. People that have a sense of, I have dominion over my own being, my own life. Evil can't touch that. Being joyful, yeah. It will always, always be trying to take you down. So what we're being is we're being made stronger because we're having to resist all this evil. You know how they say silence is complicity? It's really important that we recognize that. Silence is compliance, especially now. So they decided that they were going to vote in the Senate. The MAGAs talk about not ever letting up with their evil. Have you noticed? Oh, we should let him have all these war powers that he doesn't have because starting a war required the votes of Congress approval. And every single time we think, just like Susan Collins, right? Oh, surely they have a conscience. We have lost our freaking minds. Every time we think that, that is a stupid thing to think. No offense, anybody. It's human nature to think that other humans care about other humans' lives. We hope they do. They have been showing us who they are. Exactly. For a good 10 years now. If you doubt that it continues, watch a clip of Fox News for about 5 minutes. And then you'll see it continues. They will persist until they take over. And they sink this country and they sink this entire damn world. They will persist until they get to the goal where they've destroyed everything. And, you know, the entire planet is on the docket. It's on the menu. They will not stop. They have to be contained. Is a felon related to those two people in Beetlejuice? Nobody compares to this evil. Honestly, I hate to say it, but we haven't seen this level of evil since World War II. And we have to take it for exactly what it is. Just like, you know, there are prisons for the hardcore criminals. Not even cockroach. There are prisons for the hardcore criminals, the ones that are really, really dangerous. Like the ones that Trump pardoned. Like some of them. The hardest of hardened criminals, like the mass murderers, are in maximum security prisons. Because they can't let them out, because if you just let them out, then they'll just keep doing the evil, because evil doesn't stop. It doesn't give up. It needs to be contained. Yeah, we're meant to be in this timeline, and then yeah, Brenda's saying we're meant to be in this timeline. You guess. Yeah, I mean, we have to play the hand we're dealt. That's why I ranted the other day about there's nothing wrong with being tired, but putting it in a comment is like, what's the point? What is the point? Right? Evil doesn't rest, so we need to recharge our batteries, but you know, we can't use being tired as an excuse to not act. So I'm going to beg and plead with you, and I will not let up about this. If evil doesn't let up, then I'm not letting up either. You can't let the hardened criminals back out onto the streets because, and we've heard that about the insurrectionists that were criminals to begin with, that they got pardoned, they got let out of prison. You can't even believe this is happening. I know it's beyond the pale, and we still can't wrap our minds around it, which is another evil tactic. A lot of them went back and they just committed crimes again. It's an obsession. So what we need to do, and I'm going to check in with you tomorrow. I'm going to check in every day because there's nothing more important in my life. Personally, there's actually nothing more important than this. I think I've made a case for that. And so since I'm finding myself on this timeline and you're all finding yourselves on this timeline, and it's up to us to be as loud as possible and persistent as possible, let's give ourselves credit for how many rallies we attended and how much work we did over the past year or so and more. All the pro-democracy groups that were founded, several years ago to deal with this threat. Let's give ourselves credit for how we have done. And now we have to ramp it up. Remember that movie, Spinal Tap? This is Spinal Tap. Now we have to look at the knob and ramp it up to 11. Okay? Beyond where the amp is supposed to go. Let's get loud. Let's show them that as much as they just do the wrong thing because they need to own the libs, as much as they do the thing that infuriates us the most on freaking purpose, as much as they do that, we're not taking the bait. We are not. They're not going to trick us into thinking, oh, they're so powerful. They're not going to trick us. All these heinous things that they're doing are not going to change our minds, and it's not going to discourage us. And every time they do shit like that, like, oh, let's vote to give him all the war powers he wants, that's to make us go like, oh, what are we going to do? Armageddon! Ah! Honestly, it's true. They did that, so we'll be furious and give up. So they did that, and we're furious, but we're not going to give them what they expect. We're not going to give them, oh, we give up. Why would we give them what they want? This is our country. You're loud, but you don't think they can hear your words? Maybe they can feel your vibes. They can. So when they expect us to be in despair, we choose persistence. All right? We can do this. You can't hear me? I thought you were making a joke. Okay. So I'll close it down. I don't know why my Wi-Fi is not working. I'll close it down for now. Make the calls tomorrow. Make 25 calls to representatives. They don't have to be long calls. It's better if they're short. And I'll see you on YouTube. I'll make a video and upload it. Okay? It's been more than a half an hour, so we're good. I'm going to check up with you tomorrow. I'm going to check on you and ask you how many representatives you called and just gave them, written the riot act. That's what I'm going to ask you. How loud did you get? So I'll check back tomorrow. All right. And I'll see you on YouTube. I'll make a video and upload it in a little while. All right. So it's been more than a half an hour. I don't want to bore people. Okay. Or have you forget the message because I said too much. I'll see you tomorrow. And I like to say, namaste. Be good to yourselves. Recharge your battery. See ya.